you got any final thoughts for the show?
Make jukes, not war.
Can we edit that out?
Nope. I had my game face on.
I think we can.
Hello and welcome to the absolutely stunning Lotus Emira. This is the brand new and final ever petrol-powered Lotus, which is quite a somber feeling. This is the Hot Wheels version, which is just released for the 2022 Q case, which I think is, well, really nice. Everything is perfect, everything is really nicely done, and of course I'll put in a few sound clips of how the actual car sounds throughout the video, because I think it sounds absolutely incredible and is without a doubt one of the best sounding cars of the 21st century, hands down. It's got a supercharged V6, which is derived from Ferrari, I believe, or at least it sounds very much like Ferrari. Toyota. Got that one wrong. It's of course the same one that came in the Evora S of recent year, and of course numerous other Lotuses of recent times. Now the Emira is, as I mentioned in the intro, the very final Lotus to ever feature a petrol/combustion engine. Everything else from now on after this Emira will be electric. Not even a hybrid, it will be electric. So Lotus are completely ditching their sort of ways for, well, since the very early days with Colin Chapman to all the way sort of the modern era, and really rivaling the likes of Tesla with their really high performance EV. They've already got a few ones out, and in fact Hot Wheels have just released one. Can't quite remember the name, but it definitely does feature a few things in the design of this Emira, which is definitely a very cool very cool factor, and I absolutely love the way this thing looks. So why not show you what I like, what I dislike, and what I really like about this cast and the real car itself. Now, starting with the back, you can really see the likes of the Lotus Evora really peeking through here in the design. Sort of the way it squats down from a rear glass sort of spec to a little sort of wing and then into the bumper, which I think really mimics the way the Evora looks. You'll notice this throughout the sort of design of this car. It looks very much like all previous Lotuses of the past decade, and I really like it. I am all for one loving the way this car looks. I absolutely love the way, I'm not a particular big fan of sort of bar lights like this, but on the Emira, I think it looks fantastic. I love the way the Lotus badge is, well, fantastically detailed all the way across, and of course again, I'm not a great fan of the space in between, but on the Emira, I think it looks perfectly fine. These vents in the rear car are very functional, and you can see, in fact, when you look through them, the rear tyres, which is a very lost sort of art in modern car design, where most vents are sort of faked out, specifically in the newer Toyota Supra. You can see a very aggressive dual exit exhaust there, and also another vent there, which is also functional in the real car. I absolutely love this thing, and now we're on the rear angle. Let's find out how it sounds, because I think it sounds fantastic. Now, onto the side profile, you can really see how sort of it mimics the real basis of Lotus design of the past decade, where it really looks like the Lotus Elise, Lotus Exige S, and of course the Lotus Evora, where you can see it sort of starts off as a very classical mid-engined sports car, and I absolutely adore the way it looks. Of course, it hasn't got the silly 2+2 sort of seats inside, which the Evora did have. They are really so small you physically can't fit anyone in with legs, so if you want passengers in Lotus Evora, you have to chuck off the legs. However, in this, you're perfectly fine because there's only 2 seats. I absolutely love the way this looks, and I think the colour that Hot Wheels have chosen to release it in the first sort of release is absolutely perfect. You'll see when I show some pictures off in the sun, the Miami blue really shoots it off and it looks great. It's definitely my favourite colour, and I can't wait to see more from this. Maybe a sunshine orange, or maybe even sort of a yellow or British racing green. I can't wait to see anything from this. Now, although they aren't sort of the best wheels that Hot Wheels have produced ever, I quite like the pizza wheels, that I quite like to nickname them as I think they suit it quite well, and they are actually quite close to the launch wheels that came on this, which is generally quite good. And another thing I really like about the side profile / roof is the fact that the glass isn't just glass on the top. You can see it's all one piece, it's all plastic, but where the sort of pillars are and the roof, you can see it's textured, so it won't scratch up easy when you take photos or use it, or even just play with it. It's nicely done. You can see when I put the screwdriver of truth on top of it, no damage whatsoever, and I love that. I love the little vent here, and of course the vents here where they cool down the rear brakes, which shouldn't necessarily be used often, but they are still very cool. And I love the way this whole car designs. I think it is just fantastic. And moving on to the front now, you can really see where modern Lotus design is really kicking in, with these sort of front sort of bonnet area sort of vents where you can see they concave in, and they are sort of to cool down the radiator and feed very fresh air into there. So the air would move into here, then come back and cool the radiator, which would then go and cool the engine, which is quite cool. And also something quite cool, but also not really very cool about this, is that the front sort of bonnet area, or frunk, if you're from America, doesn't actually open. You physically can't open this. That's purely a space for the radiator and nothing else, which is pretty cool, the fact that Lotus have done that. And you don't actually lose that much storage, as there is actually a boot just behind the rear engine, and it is a fair size. I think it's around 150 litres. Just put it back into shot. And also a lot of space behind the front seats where you can store things. Of course not on this one, but on the rear one. And great again. But it is just another representation of how great modern Lotus is. I absolutely love this thing, and I've fallen for this Lotus a lot. Of course the badge there, prominent there, and the LED lights. Again, overall verdict coming next. Now, it's probably no surprise to hear that I absolutely adore this thing. It is by far my favourite English car to have released in the past decade, maybe even 2 decades, maybe ever. It sounds absolutely unreal. The supercharger whine is fantastic. The engine notes are just unreal. They are divine. And I think the general lines of this car are unmatched to any English car ever. It rivals the likes of the Alpine A110 and the Porsche Cayman S, which is again a very, very cool sort of set of cars, and even could possibly rival the new Z, although we don't have it here. It's around the same price point. It has around the same horsepower, as 400 horsepower, and it is generally as revolutionary as the Z. It is really cool, and I love the way this thing looks, and I would highly recommend any of you to see these in shops, even though it may be Lotus and even though it may be English, to pick it up, even if you're American and don't like English cars, because you'll regret otherwise. This thing looks unreal. So why not take some photos of it? And of course, stay safe everyone, have fun, and of course, stay juke'ing.